whatever offer it is, could be the initial 10,000. As soon as that is being offered, that is the green light for the close family claim to go in. Because immediately that will be processed and a decision will be made fairly quickly. Do not submit a close family claim before the primary claimant has received an offer. Wait until the primary claimant has received an offer. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be just the interim payment, and then the rest of the offer may come later, 50, 60,000 may come later. As soon as an offer has been received by the primary claimant, it's a green light for close family claim to go in. We're particularly stressing there need to be more close family claims made, because we do know that many individuals are being supported by close family members, and yet the close family are not putting in the claim. So that is why we're stressing, please make sure you submit claim. If you've been supporting an individual, a close family, put in your claim as soon as the offer is being made. Let me just give you a second point. Close family member under the age of 18. If you're under the age of 18 and making a claim, you will need a parent or a guardian or someone with parental responsibility to send the claim in on your behalf. So anyone under the age of 18 cannot submit a claim directly. They will need someone to submit that claim. It could be a parent, a guardian, or someone with parental responsibility to send the claim in. Because we know it is the case where there are many young carers caring and supporting family members. So that is very important. Roland? Roland, can you make your point?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask what time can I come in on the close family member?
Yes, we're on it now. I just want to just deal with the on the age, and then we're going to I'm going to bring you back in. So let me just repeat this.
Okay,
under the age of 18 cannot submit a claim on their own, even though that they've been supporting a primary claimant. Yes, they have to get a guardian, a parent, or someone with parental responsibility to submit the claim on their behalf, to say, yes, they've been supporting this individual, but because they're under the age of 18, they cannot submit it themselves. Doesn't mean they have not been doing it, but they cannot submit it themselves. Now, just to elaborate a little further on the close family claim, we're going to give you some example of, who constitute close family, so you get a wider understanding of close family and stepchildren, etc. Roland, can you come in now, please, to explain the close family and to break it down so that people get a wider understanding, who can make up a close family claim?
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me okay, Garrett?
Yes, I can. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, everyone, for attending. Nana, I acknowledge you, and Nimrod, I acknowledge you as well. My name is Roland Aldrin from Justice for Windrush Generation. Was Justice for Windrush Generation was co-founded by myself and Garrick, and Mr. George from the Sackville community sorry, not Sackville, Mr. George Grant from the Africville community, which is a community in Canada, which had a similar situation to what the Windrush generation had in the UK, where they were dispossessed of their land and went through a number of issues themselves. Okay, I'll leave that there for now. So Gary explained to you the eligibility criteria and the entitlement for applying for getting compensation. So I'll just run through that quickly again. I'll run through eligibility. In order to be eligible to apply to the compensation scheme, the Windrush compensation scheme, you have to fit into one of the following categories, not all of them. One, you entered the UK before the 1st of January 1973 from a Commonwealth country, or you entered the UK before the 1st of January 1989 from any country, and it does not say except Commonwealth country, including Commonwealth country, and you've lived in the UK continuously, or you were born in the UK and the parent or grandparent came from a Commonwealth country, or you entered the UK before you got to the age of 18 years old and your parent or grandparent came from a Commonwealth country. That's the eligibility criteria. And for entitlement, you would have had to have your life disrupted or impacted due to your inability to show that you've got a right to be in the UK, which Garrick has gone through a number of days, claim, loss of earnings, etc., etc. Now, there are three categories to the claim. Primary claimant, that's you, the individual that was impacted, directly impacted. There's deceased estate claim, and there is close family member. There's absolutely no difference between a primary claimant and a deceased estate claim. The only difference is, except that that individual that is eligible or would have been eligible and entitled as a primary claimant as now passed, is deceased. And that's where you got the deceased estate claim. For a close family member, in order to be eligible to apply as a close family member, you need to fit into one of the following, or you need to be one of the following. Because when I say close family member, we're not talking any close family member. There's a specific cohort, there's a specific group, and it's 6. So one of the following: parent of the primary claimant or the eligible and entitled estate, or wife or husband of, children of, siblings, brothers and sisters of, anyone that lived in a relationship with the primary claimant or the deceased individual for 2 years or more, or you were a step parent or a step child of primary claimant or deceased individual. There's no numbers there. Didn't say 10 close family member. In fact, I've come across cases where there are 19 close family member claims. And in some cases, there are more than one claims. A close family member, because you could be, the mother could have been impacted. And after submitting, your mother submitted her claim, you being the daughter, son or daughter, child. After the mother submitted her claim, or your father, whomever, submitted their claim, what the Home Office do in some cases, you are a close family member may submit a claim. And the Home Office may come up and say, you too seems to be a primary claimant. So you submit a primary claim yourself, being the child of that primary claimant. And with that, that will generate a number of other close family member claims. So let's say the particular individual, mother, was impacted, and one of her children, in fact, a number of her children, 2 of her children is also impacted. What that will do, she's got 5 children. Those 5 children can submit a close family member claim against her claim. But 2 of her children is also impacted and is eligible and entitled to submit a primary claim as well. So those 5 children are going to claim against the mother's claim. Also, the mother in return is going to submit a claim against her 2 children who has also been impacted. So you've got 3 claims there. And the siblings, brothers and sisters of those children are going to submit 2 claims each two claims against those two children that has been impacted. So in each case, you're going to have three claims. The mother is going to claim against those two children, likewise, etc., etc. We have got cases where there is, in one family, you got about 19 claims. Deceased estate claim, primary claims, and also these close family member claims. Now, in terms of figure, in terms of the amount that the close family member can get, the minimum amount is 10,000, but it can go up to 100,000. An average is 20,000. That is, they were not supporting the primary claimant, because you do not need, as a close family member, you do not need to have supported the primary claimant or the deceased individual, financially or otherwise. There are two elements to the close family member claim. One is impact on life. That is how you, the individual, you, the close family member, has been impacted due to what you saw your mother, father, or the primary claimant going through. And that impacted you emotionally, anxiety, stress, etc., etc. That's one element. And the second element is living expenses, where you've spent money on them. You may have invited them in your home, your electric bill, utility bill went up, or you may have given them money to buy food, shopping, pay the bills, get them up in an emergency shelter, etc. When they were stuck out there in South Africa, when they went there and couldn't get back home, you were sending money to them through MoneyGram. That was a financial aspect. But it's very important to understand that you do not need to have supported that primary claimant or the deceased individual. The close family member claim is primarily about you, how you, the daughter, how you, the wife, the stepchild, step-parent, etc., has been impacted due to what you saw that individual going through. And as Gary said earlier, your claim won't impact the amount that the primary claimant gets or the estate gets, because it's not like there's a pot of money that is going to be shared up among the family. That's not how it works. You submit your claim as a close family member of the impacted, and your claim will be assessed. They mentioned 20,000 as an average, but in a situation where, let's say, you've been to the doctor and you spoke with your doctor and said, due to what you saw, the primary claimant going through, you're stressed, etc., that could take it up to about 40,000. If you visit the doctor then, and you're still visiting the doctor, i.e. on medication, I get to that stage, we're talking about around about 70,000. Also, you went then, you're still going now. You're that impacted because you may have been living in the same house. You're that impacted that you lost your home. Then that could be up to 100,000, and that is for impact in life. That is how you're impacted emotionally, anxiety, stress, etc., etc. There are other elements, 13 heads of claim from not being able to use the NHS, not being able to get social security benefit, not being able to open a bank account, not being able to get driving license, locked out of the UK, couldn't get back, or you were deported, or you went outside the UK and on your return, you were delayed at the airport for half an hour or more. And each one of those carry a monetary figure that will be compensated. Level of claim for the impact on life, there are 5 levels of claim: 10,000, level 1, 20,000, level 2, 40,000, level 3, and 70,000, level 4, and lastly, 100,000 and above for a level 5, that is impact on life. So all these will add up. So let's say you were working somewhere, lost your job, and for 5 years it couldn't work. You're earning 20,000 per annum after taxes. That would be 5 multiplied by 20. It should be 100,000 loss of earnings. And you couldn't get benefit, then there'll be another number figure in that. On top of that, you were impacted to the extent that you lost your job, was going to the doctor, still going to the doctor, and you still your mental health is still impacted. So let's say that's 100,000 for the impact on life, and then there will be another 100,000 for the loss of earnings, and then there will be all the other elements where you could not have opened bank account, etc., etc. You do not need to have been impacted in all areas. It could be just a situation where it's impact on life. We're returning to the UK, you were stopped at the airport for half an hour or more. That would trigger an impact on life claim. I'll leave it there for now. Garrick, if there's anyone needs any clarification or questions or want to elaborate on anything, I'm here. I'm listening.
Thank you. Thanks for that, Roland. So Roland just give you some example of close family claim. What I'd like to do now is just pause for a moment and just ask the audience, is there any question relating to the close family claim before we move on to another section of that? Again, the guidance we mentioned, the guidance is there. So as with every claim, primary, close family, and deceased estate, guidance is available for each of those. And it's very important that we follow the guidance before we start filling out and submitting a claim. Very important.
Shaza has got her hand up. And also as a quick question, Gary, did you touch on status where those that lost the indefinite leave to remain can apply for a returning resident visa to re-enter the UK? Those who lived in the UK.
No.
Okay, fair enough. Okay. Shaza.
Shaza?
No, my hand isn't up.
Oh, okay, yeah, your hand was up before. Okay, thank you. Let me just go back to a couple of things. So let's just stay with close family claim. And one important element around the close family claim is the lack of capacity. And I want to read this directly from the guidance. If a claimant lacks capacity, they're unable to take decision, a person who has the power of attorney, legal authority to act. Now, the language might be slightly different outside the UK, but essentially it's the same information. So if a person lacks capacity and they're unable to take decision, a person who has the power of attorney, legal authority to act over the claimant financial affair can send a claim on behalf of. Where there is no power of attorney, a deputy, a guardian, or a controller with control over the claimant financial affair can send a claim on behalf of. If the claimant is outside the UK, and please, I'm going to stress this point, if the claimant is outside the UK, a person who has the equivalent power may send the claim in. So outside the UK, in different country, similar power. The language might be slightly different in the word that is used. In other words, you need a legal person with the appropriate authorization to do that. One form should be filled in for each person. If you're part of a family, each member of the family must fill in their own compensation claim. That is very important. Again, this is part of the guidance. Yeah, how to fill in the close family claim. You should, and again, I'm reading directly, you should fill in all sections of the form and provide all the information you think is relevant to your claim. This will help to ensure we're able to award you the maximum compensation to which you're entitled. And let me stress this point. Every question on the application must be answered. Do not leave a section blank. If there is a question that is not applicable to you, then you just write not applicable and move on. If you leave it blank and send it into the Home Office will send it back as to why you've not answered that question. That is another delay for your claim. So please do not do that. Make sure all questions are answered, and the one that is not relevant, you make it clear, not relevant. The next point, we'll check your records and work with other government department and third party to gather and check the information that you provide as part of your claim. As I said before, when you put information down, it must be accurate, because the Home Office will have access to other government information, pension, tax, national insurance, and they will be checking against information that you have submitted on your form. It's important that information is correct. An explanation of the term used in the guidance and claim form can be found in Annex A under its guidance. Now, I'm not going to go through every part of the guidance, but just in conclusion, the minimum amount of information required, and there are 4 key points. There is a minimum amount of information that we need for your claim. This means that you must, notice the point, you must fill in all your personal details in section 2. Make a claim for compensation 1 or more categories. Fill in section 4, which is the compensation, and then fill in the declaration. And the declaration, let me just give a warning. You have to read the declaration, which actually remind you that what you have stated in your application, to the best of your knowledge, is accurate. Yes, and then you sign and date the declaration. And you know the consequence. If information is not accurate, then you could end up in a situation where you're prosecuted for false information. So to the best of your knowledge, you're signing a declaration that all the information that you have put on the application form is accurate to your best of your knowledge. It doesn't mean you have to remember every single date, right, and place, etc. But again, to the best of your knowledge. And you sign the declaration and you send it in. That complete your claim. And then you wait for acknowledgement that your claim has been received. And then you wait for your claim to be processed and an offer to be made. Would you like to say anything about that, Roland, before I move on? Okay, let me just conclude this section.
I will have the delay coming up. Okay, yes. Regarding the declaration, just quite a number of individuals will submit claims from outside the UK. I don't usually submit hard copies, especially, well, whether you're outside the UK or not. So how I usually do it, I fill out the soft copy of the form, basically download the form. One is Open Doc and one is PDF. Fill the form out. I'll email it to the individual or WhatsApp it to them. They'll read it If they do not agree to any changes, we make the changes and then we'll communicate via WhatsApp. We'll be sending the document by email or WhatsApp or any other platform. Once they're happy, if they do not have a digital signature, then they print the declaration page. These back and forth, sending email and WhatsApp, what that does is creates a digital footprint. So should I go in and make any changes, or your representative or advocate should go to the document and make any change without you agreeing with it, then there will be the digital footprint to evidence that you did not agree to that. Once you both agree, you and your representative agree to what the application, what is in the application from date of birth to the statement, you can apply the digital signature, sign it, print your name. However, if there is you have not got the technology to apply the digital signature, you do not need to print all 44 pages of the primary claim application or the 24 pages of the close family member documentation. You print the final page, the declaration page and the declaration page only. Sign it, date it, print your name in your own handwriting, wet signature, so to speak, meaning using a pen. Once you've done that, you can scan it and email it back to your representative or your advocate. If you do not have a printer, access to a printer or access to an internet cafe or anything like that, you can just take a nice clean photograph with don't crop it. You can have a little bit of background, put it on a clear background, your bed or whatever, flat surface. Take a photograph of it and send it to your advocate. And the advocate should merge the document or amalgamate the document or whatever term you want to use and bring it together and email it off to the Windrush compensation team. That's good enough. I've done that numerous times and they have accepted that. Okay, I'll leave it there, Derek. So, and I'll encourage to submit your claim via email rather than hard copy, because when and I deliberately say when they misplace your application, then you can easily pull it down and store it, and then you send it as an attachment. And they encourage you, if you choose to send through by the post, you do not need to send the original documentation. You can take a photocopy and send it. That's good enough. Photocopy of your birth certificate, death certificate, or your ID, etc., etc. Okay, I'll leave it there for now, Gary.
Thank you for that. Let me just re-emphasize: document to support the claim. I'm reading directly from the guidance. You can give us the information and evidence we ask for. It will help us to decide your claim for compensation. However, if you don't have any evidence for a particular category, please don't worry, as we will try to help you to get this. So, what they're saying, don't worry about collecting the evidence for everything, because again, the government internal departments can help with collecting evidence. So things relating to employment, national insurance, pension, they can collect that information internally themselves. So don't worry about that. However, this is the point that I want to emphasize that Roland just mentioned. Do not send us original document. Only send us photocopy or scan of your document. If we need to see original document, we will ask you to send it to us and we will return it to you by secure post. Notice the point, right? By secure post. And then finally, we suggest that you do not pay anyone else to get documents. If you think a document someone else will support your claim, but they will charge you for it, mention this on the form. And if we need the document to support your claim, we will contact the person to get it ourselves if you agree with this. In other words, do not pay for any document. if a document is required, for example, um, evidence of the death certificate in terms of probate, then the Home Office will pay for that, but they will also pay for any document that is required on your claim. Do not pay any money out for any document yourself. Yeah, very important. And it goes to say the same for medical evidence. Do not pay or ask for a report, because a medical report will cost anything from 60 to 150 pounds. If you need medical evidence, you go to your GP and you will ask the receptionist to give you a patient summary, and that will be information pertaining to you that they will print and give it to you. Do not pay for any medical evidence, because your doctor will have all the referral that has been made on your behalf. For example, if you've been referred to any particular department for physical health or for mental health, if you've been referred to services, that will be on your record. Whatever drugs you've been taking as a result of treatment, that will be on your record. So all you would need to do is go to your doctor and ask for a patient summary. That's for you, a patient summary, which is free of charge. And you can use that to support your claim, but do not pay for any medical report. Roland?
Yeah, very good point that Gareth, it comes to documentation. For the close family member claim, you need to establish how you're related to the primary claimant or the deceased. And in most cases, it's going to be either marriage certificate, birth certificate, in most cases. Or in some cases where you've been living, cohabiting, let's say you were living with that individual 8 years ago, what they ask for is some document, whether it be in a bank statement, utility bill, gas, water, etc., some letter which you're at the same address as that particular individual. You may have moved the address at the time. And in addition to that, as a close family member, when you submit a close family member claim, you need to be lawfully in the UK at the time of the impact on the primary claimant or the deceased. For the deceased estate claim and documentation, the Home Office will pay up to £1,500 for the probate process to go to the established probably that the person has actually passed. If they passed away abroad, to get the death certificate, etc., They will pay up to £1,500. We think it should be a lot higher than that. However, that is there for now. When it comes to getting documentation, a lot of individuals will come across before they submit the claim, they start worrying about, how am I going to prove that this happened, and so on and so forth. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. What we mainly concerned about at the initial stage is the what happened, the story, what happened to you. And I use the term story loosely. I would say at this stage, do not be concerned in yourself that I will not be able to evidence that my grandfather came from South Africa in 1956 and was here until 1974, and he went out of the UK and he couldn't get back. Get the story first. I want to say, as I said, when I say the story, I mean, it's the statement or the what happened. Then we go to evidence. And we got various people that will work alongside, from genealogists to researchers, etc., Though we're not necessarily in partnership with them as such, we can call them up and get ideas from them as to how to approach getting documentation. In my personal case, an individual was in the UK, say from 1962 to 1974, was working at XYZ company. XYZ company has closed down, but that person may have only worked for 5 years. In most cases, that person would not be entitled, not in all cases, in most cases, would not be entitled to pension from the UK. So in that case, what we'll do is still apply for the person's pension record. If the person is alive and outside the UK, we'll apply for their pension, for them to get a pension. We already know that they're not going to get the pension in most cases because they've not met 10-year eligibility criteria, so to speak, the minimum threshold. Once we made the application and it is declined, we're going to say, send us the record. That's one approach. Or you may just go to the HMRC and ask for the pension record. There are various ways of going to go about it, establishing that what you're saying are evidencing that what you're saying is correct. One of the issues that we're having at the moment is a lot of those individuals that were stopped at the airport for half an hour or more. Quite a number of individuals have applied. That should trigger a claim. If you were detained at the airport, and detained does not necessarily mean that you were locked in a room. Detained means that you were stopped at the airport, your documents were taken, a passport or whatever, and you were questioned for half an hour or more. That should trigger a claim. However, in many cases, those individuals have got no documentation to evidence that they were actually stopped and were delayed for half an hour or more. A number of those claims has been made a nil offer. They've had no offer, so to speak. So there are various ways of approaching. That's one of the tricky issues at the moment, and we're looking at ways as how to go about evidencing those occurrences. Back to you guys.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that, Roland. So let me just give a quick summary because we're almost out of time. We started off with eligibility criteria. We established that a person needs to be in the UK by 1973 themselves, their parents or their grandparents. We also established that from any other country by the 31st of December 1988. And then we move on to how to fill the form out. And we emphasize the point that you have to read the guidance, the 44 pages guidance for the primary claimant. And we emphasize that you make a draft before you complete your application, a rough draft, get the information correct. Also, if you're not able to do this yourself, then please seek some help from friends, family, or reach out to the independent advocacy. And in the chat, we have the website for Liverpool Advocates for Windrush, and we also have the website for Justice for Windrush Generation as 2 reference points. Then we spoke about a close family claim, and we mentioned that the amount that an individual can claim does have no impact on the primary claimant award. So don't be thinking that if you submit 10 claims, you're going to reduce the primary claimant money. It is not the case. However, we do say to people they should have conversation with the primary claimant. And also we emphasize that as soon as an offer is being made to the primary claimant, that's the green light for you to submit your claim for close family claim. And re-emphasize there's no fixed number as to how many claims can go in. We also emphasize the deceased estate. There's no difference between the deceased estate claim and the primary claimant. The only thing is that another family member would now take that claim forward on behalf of a deceased person. And Roland just mentioned that if we need documentation, in which we do, if we're outside the UK, to confirm a death certificate, we need to say the person, yes, the person died. It's not just your word. We need documentation to prove that. And the Home Office will cover the cost to actually get the documentation from outside the UK to support your claim for deceased estate claim. We also stress do not pay for any reports at all, or do not pay for anybody to assist you with your claim. The advocacy support is free. There are no charge. And if we can help and support you, then we will do that. And you can make a donation of your own free will after with help and support you. So we've covered all three category of the claim, and we have stressed right at the start the timeline for Windrush 1948 to 1988. We're now in the 76th year. First generation is now in their 80s and 90s. So, you know, we are losing a lot of our first generation of pioneers. But the descendants are still experiencing problems. So we are the descendants, and so we should come forward and make a claim. Roland.
Just announcement. We're
Yes.
close. A couple of announcements I would like to make. And if anyone in here that has got any community event or anything, any announcement that would like to make.
Yeah, might as well you do that now, because we're just 2 minutes over. So
however,
let's make an announcement now.
Something to steer away from, like cryptocurrency and things like that. Firstly, I would like to welcome the brothers, three attendees, not just brothers, Nana from Ghana, and also just to get a minute, let me get the correct name, Mr. George Grant from the Africville community out in Halifax, where I'm at the moment, Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada. They had a similar situation to what we experience in the UK. And also, a second, please. Yes, I'd like to welcome those. The Windrush compensation scheme as it is not fit for purpose. It's not doing what it's supposed to do to the extent that it should. And we have been lobbying Parliament Justice for Windrush generation for the past couple of years. And the 18th of September, we will be in the House of Commons again. Got a new government, and the Prime Minister made some utterances that he's going to make changes to the scheme for us to have a better scheme. There's a video circulating on the internet of him actually saying that 18th of September, we're in the House of Commons again. And in addition to that, I would like to announce to people across the world, if you've worked in the UK for a number of years, in many cases, you would have not met the 10-year minimum threshold to get a pension from the UK. However, in some cases, you can get some pension from the UK proportionate to the amount of years that you have worked in the UK. So there have been cases where individuals apply, they say they've not done the 10 years, you've only done 6 years. In some cases, not all cases, you can get some pension proportionate. And in some cases, you can get a lump sum, and at cases from 10,000 up to 40,000. But it's not a guarantee. In some cases, there's a metric there. It depends on a number of factors. Back to you, Gary. Thank you all for listening. Back to you.
Yes. Gary. Thank you, Roland, for that. So again, these sessions operate twice a month, the second and last Sunday of each month, this Windrush chat. And in between the other months, we have a different platform where we have direct questions. We call it Windrush Q&A. And that is offered by another organization that deliver the advocacy work, law, Liverpool Advocates for Windrush. So that's on the first and third Sunday of each month. And in the chat, you have two websites. You have justiceforwindrushgeneration.co.uk. You can make a note of it. justiceforwindrushgeneration.co.uk. And you have law, Liverpool Advocates for Windrush.org. Liverpool Advocates for Windrush.org. All lowercase with the 3 W's to start. Those are the two websites you need to be aware of. It doesn't matter what part of the world you're located in, you can access help and support through those two organizations. So please share the information with friends and family. If you're not sure of your situation, and we don't like to discuss individual cases on the platform, we will do it privately. If you're not sure and you need to ask any question, then you have a contact number and email address in the chat that Roland has put out. So, that's where you get the one-to-one information regarding your own situation. Any questions? Roland? Is that legacy hand?
That's the legacy hand, Gary. Okay. I'm pretty much done.
Okay, that's fine. So just leave me now to thank Mimi for supporting the chat today, and thank those who actually came into the chat from outside the UK. Please continue to follow us, and all of our events are promoted on the Eventbrite platform. So everything we do is on the Eventbrite platform. So Sunday chat, as well as lobbying of Parliament, you can find our information on the Eventbrite platform. What we say...
Quickly before you go, Gary, and before you cut off, Herman has just raised his hand. I think he's got a very relevant question. So
yeah, sure.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah. So let me just finish the paragraph. So please share the information that you've heard today with friends and family. We want to make sure the information get out, not just in the UK, but abroad. As we said right at the start, Windrush is a global issue affecting people from 65 countries. Herman, your point, please.
Hello, good afternoon. I'm a bit late today, sorry.
Yeah.
Let's see. Within the last 2 weeks, yes, I've received a letter. It was something I was going to mention last week, and I know I was getting into a conversation with Tanika, but I had quite a few some personal stuff happened this week. Let's see. A letter from the Home Office engagement team stating there would be sort of just a change with regard to delivery of how they the service which they would be given. Has anyone else received the letter as such?
I have as well.
Yes, we
can I respond to
the engagement team with regard to that. It's going to be more like it. I think has been said. I haven't heard anybody else mention it in any way, shape, or form, or anything in chats and so forth, which is quite interesting. So now it could be 2 weeks now. So can you confirm that? Is that the case? Have you received something similar or so?
Yeah, I think we do know about this. Roland and myself, we had a conversation with the Home Office, and what we have suggested that the Home Office should be doing some outreach work out in the community, and we suggested things like music festival and event, etc., going out and engaging with community. Having a public stall, and that could be, for example, at a music event, at a carnival, etc. So we've had those conversations, and they have said that's a great idea, that they would support things like this. And we also have said it would be great for them to have some merchandise that they can give, like pens, for example, and have a stall. So that's where the conversation has come from.
So, okay, because the letter really doesn't. The letter.
Hold on.
Sorry. Okay. So Roland,
Can I just elaborate a bit there? Herman, from my understanding of the letter, is that going forward, when you're organizing an event, and we have done a number of them, engagement event, that you will have an individual that you'll speak with directly in organizing that event to streamline the process, so to speak. Before, it was a bit, sometimes can a bit challenging to get through to one individual to speak with. Going forward, you should have a manager to speak with. That's my understanding of it.
Yeah. There's a contact.
And based on this subsequent discussions I have had with them.
Yeah. The other thing, Herman, that might be good is that we've made a couple of suggestions to the Home Office. So obviously they're thinking about what we've said and how they can improve their engagement. So I think, that is probably a response to the conversation that we've had. But there's also what they've said to us, there is a minimum requirement of time. If we need to engage the Home Office, they need a minimum of 14 days notice to attend any event. And that's for them to organize themselves and to confirm, yes, they can attend this event. So that came out of our conversation as well.
Okay. Okay. All right. I've listened to what you're saying there. I mean, I think I've got to make 1 or 2 inquiries. I think there still needs to be a bit more meat on the bone there. My worry is that
if you find out anything different, then please let me know. Keep us informed if there's anything different. But we are aware of the content. But again, we're actually trying to get the Home Office to be more proactive. That's the bottom line.
Okay, I know we've gone over the session here, so I'll leave that there for now. My only issue with that is they might agree to everything now, because obviously it might be a bit like cats on a hot tin roof at the moment, what with Labour coming in and auditing and looking and checking.
Yeah.
So
and I'm sure there will be guidance.
I don't know.
Your internet is not very stable.
Sorry?
Your internet is going in and out.
Okay. Could you hear? Yeah. Okay. Well. Okay. My only worry, that's may well be managers there now, but it may not be the edict from Yvette Cooper, if you understand my saying, who's now the new Home Secretary. So I'm just a bit, that issue. 2 weeks. Okay. So I think we need to sort of get ironed out. But I've just I got anything from anyone else. This is the first time I've heard an airing from anyone else like yourself.
Okay.
So I haven't received as truth, as it were.
No, thanks for that.
All right, thank you very much for today. I'm sorry I could only.
Not a problem. So I would just like to let me just bring let me just bring the session to a conclusion. We've gone over.
Gary, can I just before you close, Gary, I just would like to address someone directly. Cube Local 108. Where you attending from, please? Cube Local 108. Cube Local 108 would like to come up on mic, please. If you're having issues coming up on mic or opening or unmuting, then when Garrick starts speaking to close, you need to interrupt and say we are briefly. Back to you, Garrick, please.
That'll be fine. Yeah. And also, if anyone needs to, to share their email address, you can do so. Just to let us know what location you are. That will be helpful. But let me just bring to a conclusion. So we've covered everything that we need to talk about today. What we say after today, you have the opportunity to, in your own time, to look at both websites, justiceforwindrushgeneration.co.uk, Canada, thank you. And also you have the opportunity to look at the advocacy support, which is law, Liverpool Advocates for Windrush. Those 2 web information will be very helpful for you to get a better understanding about the Windrush scheme and the support available to assist individual. So do look at that in your own time. Lots of information there. And there is also contact, email, and WhatsApp contact on both websites. So you have names and contact information so that if you have your own personal case that you would like to discuss with an advocate, please reach out to the advocate through those 2 websites that I've given you. So that has bring us to the conclusion of our session this afternoon. I know it's afternoon in the UK, but it's in Canada, you're 5 hours earlier than us. So you have the rest of the
4
afternoon.
hours behind. We are at 4 hours behind.
Yes, 4 hours, not 5.
Yeah, 4 hours
Okay.
behind, yeah. Yeah.
4
So
hours.
just 16 minutes past 12 now.
Okay, so it's lunchtime now for you. Yeah, so dinner time for us, but lunchtime for you. Okay. Okay, till next time, to join us on the next session, which is the second and last Sunday. And in between that, we have the Q&A, which is the first and third Sunday. But if you go to the website, you will see that information yourself, and the signpost to the Eventbrite platform will give you the session in details. Okay, thank you all, and see you soon. Bye-bye for now.